Hey, what's up guys? This is another episode of Watch You Strappin, and today I am on the SRPF81K1, long name, reference number sort of. This is what I would consider the true baby tuna, not the ones that, what was the one that I had before? SRP, is it 637? Which is, basically what they were calling the ones, those monsters with the shrouds. It really has more, those had more monster influences. It should have been more baby tuna, or sorry, monster tuna or tuna monster, because the only thing tuna about that was just the shroud. But everything else on those watches, like the dial and the bezel grip, even the bracelets and all were in the handset, everything was basically monster. And yeah, so I don't know, I would consider this a baby tuna, or you can call it a tunette or a micro tuna or mini tuna. But I think the smaller solar one that's like 38 millimeters, similar color. I don't think it has a date, and they have a green version too. Just swap out the blue for the green, and everything else is basically the same. Currently, as of what is this? Beginning of April 2021. That's what's on offering. There could be more by the time you read this, or see this rather, later during the year or years, or maybe it might be next year, 2022, that you even see this. But anyways, yeah, I would consider those more of a mini tuna, because I guess mini sounds even smaller than baby. I don't know, whatever. It's gonna go there's gonna be a little bit of conflict in what you name these things for a while. But anyways, sorry to rush the video yesterday. I usually keep these brief, but that was really brief because I didn't have any battery in my phone when I usually do this. So yeah, I just had to get through it real quick. Anyways, I'll spend just a little bit more time. Today I swapped out the stock navy rubber strap that it came on with one from StrapCode. This is the Endmill style, which is basically a president or presidential style of a bracelet. You can see it's very rounded over, very similar to Jubilee, but I would say not as fancy, because it doesn't have all the fine middle links, and sometimes those are often high polished. This is just one fat center link that looks kind of like the ones on the side. It's almost oyster-like, but it's not as flat. It's got more heft and beef to it, which I think matches the case pretty darn good. This is actually this first aftermarket bracelet that I put on my first tuna, the SBDY073, if I recall the model number. It's that the one with the stainless steel bezel, black, 300 meters, the full size one. But I always like that. I have tried different ones, but I think this really is the best match for this. It just has that rounded kind of beefiness to the links, and it kind of matches. You see how the lugs are shaped. I think it kind of works there, and the fact that overall, like the shroud is kind of like this heavy, somewhat heavy rounded cylinder thing. It's, you can kind of see the form similarities in the bracelet. Let me back it off a little bit. This is on my 6.875 inch wrist, or otherwise 6 7/8. Yes, I'm very specific. It is just under 7 inches, not quite 6 3/4. It's bigger than that, but not full 7 inches. And just for sizing reference, and with a 43 millimeter version of this tuna, it wears even smaller. Seriously, I thought it was a 38 millimeter watch when I first took it out of the box. So did I get the right one? But it is. Mostly the full size tuna, it wears smaller and surprisingly better than you think. And so when it's even more smaller, shrunk down from the 47 point whatever it was, the full size, down to this 43, you can just imagine how much better it will probably be for even more wrist sizes. I really like the really dark navy. It's got a bit of a sunburst pattern to it if you catch it in the right light. It might be hard to capture in this particular setting, but you can maybe imagine. And it looks good, and I like the gold accent. It's not too heavy. It's kind of like a pale, almost like a gold leaf, or I might consider it like a light brass color almost, or in some ways it looks kind of like tan, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, I'm gonna get into a full review on this later. You can see the profile, it just hugs the wrist really good because those lugs are just hanging right underneath the case and they don't really extend out past it, which is great because I think they're basically the same lug to lug as it is width. Maybe slightly longer, perhaps, but practically the same basically. I think in the case of the full-size Tuna, they're actually shorter than the width of the watch because they actually, the lugs are actually a little bit more recessed into the case on the full-size ones, if I recall correctly. Anyways, yeah, I think this is pretty cool. Nice low profile clasp. 3 adjustments is plenty, and I always like a bracelet option, and this was definitely one to go with. I wasn't going to spend more on the OEM one. I don't need a Marine Master, whatever. I don't need to spend that kind of money on this. And the Strappin ones are quite good quality. Anyways, getting kind of late, and long, so we'll leave it at that. So hope this looks cool to you. Let me just pull back a little bit so you can see it in perspective. It's a really good size watch for 43. It really, you put it next to a 41 or even a 40 millimeter watch, it actually looks smaller than those when you put it right up to it. And the height is under 13. It's like 12 point, I forget the exact specs, but say 12 and a half roughly. So it's not a bad size. And I don't know about you, but I really love the Tuna design with that shroud. It's very cylindrical. And the reason why it also wears small, besides the dial, is just the actual bezel and everything is smaller than the base of the watch, right? It's wider on the bottom than it's in the top. So a lot of this thing, the design work in its favor to wear comfortable and smaller on wrist. And that's good for those who really wanted to get a Tuna, but just couldn't feel like comfortable pulling off the full size one. It's perfect. Can't wait to see them put out more of these in the future. And I like the date window at 4 o'clock or 4:30. It just slips in there. It's low and inconspicuous, and more importantly, what helps set it to the background, besides it being, not that, super obvious or, embellished, is just there. Is that you got nice, solid, or nice, bold indexes that really pop in the forefront. And because these are applied indexes, with that kind of polished frame and everything, they pop out even more. So that sends everything else kind of to the background. So yeah, not a problem. I usually don't like a date at that position, but to keep the overall dial symmetry, I think it works pretty darn good. Anyways, catch you on the next one. Thanks, bye.